Ooh, look at this big old belly. All right, we're going to stay focused because, and I'm already messing this up. I'm going to try to do this. If you see here, I'm sitting in my office looking at this map, and it looks backwards, but hopefully when I post it, it will flip it around. We are looking at a map of the contiguous United States of America, but we should actually go all the way up to Canada and down into Mexico. It says Eastern region, and a lot of this stuff here is glossed over. You see all the reses over here, they're all in red. You know, once we cross the, what is it, Missouri, Mississippi River, one of those rivers, and we see more and more reses going this way. But when the settlers, the newcomers came along and they marched over, a lot of times what they did was they just plowed over everything. And that's why you see itty bitty tiny reses, like California as well. But what we don't know, what they failed to teach us in history classes, is that there were, indeed, civilizations living there. That's what I'm here to bother you with right now. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without over yakking too much. The main thing that we need to know is that indigenous civilizations, they always tell us that if you want to see evidence of great civilizations, you got to go into Yucatan Peninsula, down into Mexico, and down to Mexico City, and yada yada, where they built pyramids and all these great Aztec and Incan and Mayan. Well, Inca's down way down south, but never mind. What we're getting at is this idea that the natives down there are the only ones who built pyramids and cities and great civilizations. That's what they tell us. However, what they don't tell us is that in the contiguous U.S., Florida all the way up into the Great Lakes, natives there were building cities too. And farmers are always digging up evidence of that. What can I explain? There's mounds everywhere. A lot of times when we're driving along, we see these hills that are just in the middle of flat land. If they were to dig through it, they'd find evidence of previous human activity. A lot of times those are ancient villages, ancient cities. Well, I'll sit here and I'm just going to yakety yak the whole time away. But the main thing that you need to know is that Singingeagle, that's your old professor sitting here, has got a theory about that, you see. Because one of my PhDs is in anthropology, with an emphasis on Native American anthropology. So I can theorize if I want to. So here's my theory, is that there was a time of great climate change and great dying, catastrophic climate change and diseases that showed up. So when the newcomers came into the Caribbean, and the Indians already had established a great, how do I say this, a great trade routes and systems of where they would all migrate and move around, sort of like we do today, jump on airplanes, but in those days it was in canoes and on foot. And they'd have these established trade routes. And there are stories, you see, and this is where we get into Native American literature. There's stories, you see, of natives from way up here in the Great Plains going down to the bigger cities. Cities. To study. Great book repositories, and this is where we get into some fun stuff. If you remember, we were looking at the Popol Vuh, and there's another one called the Dresden Codex. What happened is, a lot of these books, a lot of these city centers, these old mounds that they keep digging up. Oh man, I'm starting to ramble. But when the farmers dig this stuff up and they find the evidence of human activity, they're finding cities with houses and temples and great squares and plazas, And something happened where they were deserted. And what I'm getting at is that by the time the newcomers started marching eastward, or westward, I should say, all the stuff was either overgrown or abandoned or both. So farmers just came in and put up their farms. And whenever they dig up evidence of human activity, they hide it because they don't want the government to move in and steal, well, they say, steal their land. I'm rambling. Why am I rambling? Let me read to you. It says here there are mounds still being found everywhere, even in the contiguous USA. Evidence of temples, arenas, and libraries. And evidence of international trade. Next time we meet, I'll share something with you to explain what I'm talking about. There was a great dying, evidence of a great climactic change and diseases. But south of the border, the Indians down there in Mexico appeared to have survived more. And that's why you hear stories about when the Spaniards came the conquistadores came marching in, and with their crosses and convert or die and all their guns and ammo, whatever, cannons, and attacking the Indians. One of the things that they did was book burning. You're always going to hear stories about book burning. Wow, look at my skin is all shiny. Never mind. Focus, focus, focus. Focus! Book burning. This is serious. This is one reason why when we try to find any information about native prehistory, a lot of it has been burnt up by the Spaniards. If you go back and read some of those old accounts, I think one guy's name was De las Casas or something like that. He was traveling with the soldiers when they were allegedly conquering the natives in Mexico, south of the border down there. And you'll hear stories about them coming in and saying, oh, these guys are worshiping the devil. And they went and destroyed ancient temples built by the Aztecs and the Mayans. And these great repositories where there's books everywhere. Just imagine you've got a big shelf full of books and some invaders come in, just grab all your books and pile them up and set them on fire. And the only things that survive are the Dresden Codex, because maybe some smart native priests had sneaked it away before they could burn it up. And the other one is the Popol Vuh, which is what we were watching the other day. So this is one reason why I'm sharing this with you, is because it's important for us to remember that a lot of Native American history and Native American literature has been burnt up. So there's a lot of recovery that is being done by current and surviving generations. We need to remember that as we go on in this semester. Now, we're going to change the channel, talk about step 4 or item 4 of our lesson plan. Keep in mind, now that we have allegedly been conquered, you see, the depictions of natives in non-native literature is often 3 categories. Ready? Here we go. The first one is the Howling Savage. The second one is the Noble Savage. And the third is the Vanishing Savage. Let me explain what they mean. I'm just going to look at my computer and read what I wrote. Howling Savage. Remember, this is how they are portraying us. Okay? Okay. Howling Savage. Natives are portrayed as violent, primitive obstacles to civilization. Obstacles to civilization. Existing only as threats to the settlers. That's where the Indians, you always read these stupid stories and you can tell they're made up because it's always the same thing. Some Indian is looking for some white broad, usually a mother, holding a child, The Indian brave grabs the woman and pushes her, grabs the baby away from her, takes the baby, holds it by its ankles, and smashes the baby's head up against a rock. You hear this over and over and over again in non-native literature saying, look at those savages stealing babies and assaulting our women. That something that you can tell is propaganda, and I'm overdoing it. Let's go on to that's the Howling Savage. Now we'll look at the Noble Savage. In this depiction, natives are portrayed as mystical, almost childlike guardians of nature, frozen in an idealized past, very similar to the magical Negro of black literature, where a wise, mystical, self-sacrificing character who guides white protagonists toward growth or redemption. And you'll see a little bit of this in Dancing with Wolves. You'll see this in other literatures. I forgot what the author's name is now. Suddenly I'm drawing a blank. But you're going to see this again and again where natives are idealized in such a way that we are not real human beings. We're just rhetorical devices in someone else's literature. That's an important thing to remember. It's in someone else's literature. Next, the Vanishing Savage. Are you ready? Here we go. Vanishing Savage. Natives are shown as tragic, doomed, disappearing people destined to fade away from modern society. If you ever get a chance, Google. I'm going to try to do it right now. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. I think it's called March of Progress. It's a painting. No. Image. Let's go to the image search. There it is. It's called American Progress. If you go to Wikipedia, let me see if I can show it to you. I'm going to turn my camera around, and this pretty much covers it. See, can you see that? I don't know if you can. I forgot who painted this. Let's go to the Wikipedia page and look it up. Says here, American Progress is a mural painted by John Gast, a Prussian-born painter and lithographer. This is in 1872, and it shows a Washichu Chmok woman marching forward, and she's marching westward, and you can see all the Indians running away, and all the civilized white farmers and white people building their cities and their ships, and driving away the buffalo and driving. So there's the Vanishing Savage. That's kind of what I was trying to get at with you now. So these are the 1, 2, 3 depictions of natives. The Howling Savage, the Noble Savage, and the Vanishing Savage. Now, for our purposes in Native American literature, I got to pick this up. I don't even know if you can hear me. Right, Howling Savage, Noble Savage, and Vanishing Savage are the 3. But for our purposes, we want to scrutinize this imagery, where what we write is, well, if you talk to people like Tiffany Midge, Sherman Alexie, Gerald Visner, and Drew Hayden Taylor, all of these folks whom I know well, and you can see I'm always carrying their books with me everywhere I go. I'm always reading. Man, I just mess up my eyesight reading this stuff. But these fellas scrutinize that and turn it on its head with some good humor. They say, especially if you talk to Tiffany Midge, Indians are some funny people. I mean, even this book by Drew Hayden Taylor says here, funny, you don't look like one. And the subtitle is Observations from a Blue-Eyed Ojibwe. Another one by Drew Hayden Taylor, Me Funny. This idea that we Indians actually have some pretty awesome senses of humor where we make fun of stuff and make fun of each other and poke each other in the ribs and all that. Keep that in mind. If you listen to non-natives, they'll say, oh, the Indians are all tragic and oh, their lives are terrible and oh, they're all savages or they're disappearing. But these fellas, oops, I'm losing books everywhere, will tell you otherwise. That's the main thing I want to get across to you right now. Otherwise, I'm going to sit up here and just waste your time with too much yakety yak. Keep in mind, as we close, there is a third section where it's called Story Time. Crow Steals the Sun. And there's another video that I'm hoping you guys will watch called Octopus Lady and Crow. There's another video that I'll try to post up that is called... let's see, we did the humans with the soft heads, but there's a video I'm hoping that you already watched, which is the different peoples, the plant people, the animal peoples, and humans being the so-called real people. Why do we call ourselves real people? It's not what you think. And it's not because we're being ethnocentric and saying, oh, look at those people over there, they're not real people, we're real people. That's not what it is. Do you remember? Well, I'll try to post the videos for you. And as we get ready to go, again, references to the books that we looked at. True Hayden Taylor. This isn't me funny, this is funny you don't look like one. True Hayden Taylor. Me funny. We got Gerald Visner, The Heirs of Columbus. Visner's a crazy man. I love him. He's Ojibwe. Narrative Chance by Gerald Visner. This guy is a high-powered intellectual Indian. Then we've got Bad Indian Book Club by, what's her name again? Patty Crowick. There's a lot of Ojibways up here. Then we got this guy, I believe he's Anita Andrezi. Butterfly Moon, which I didn't talk about yet, but we'll talk about it another time. Last of the Ophos by Gary Hobson. I forget what tribe he's from. Does it say here? Maybe he is Mosopolea himself. And is that the other one? We did speak also about my old friend Tiffany Midge. Here's a book by her. She just sent it to me. It's called Horns. She's also, I think she's Hunk Papa Lakota. She even signed it for me. Isn't that cute? Tiffany Midge. All right. I got to quit bugging you guys and let you go. Thank you so much. We'll talk about this stuff some more. Oh, one more thing before I let you go, because this shows up on the quiz. Etiology. The term etiology is the attribution of the cause or reason for something, often expressed in mythic oral traditions. For example, why does a possum have no hair on his tail? Or why the hummingbird is colorful? Or why raven is black? That's called etiology. Could also refer to why this mountain is here. Or, why the sky over here is a certain, or why the sky is blue. That's all etiology, why things are the way they are today. Okay, now we'll keep that in mind for pop quiz. I will give you a pop quiz review in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Talk to you later.